We are live and ready to go again for night number 4. I am so excited. So excited to get ready tonight to share what I have to share tonight. We are going to talk about making a plan, which is so incredibly important when you have a blog. So we'll give everybody just a minute to log on. I'm a little bit late tonight, so I have to get everything set up and organized. Oh my goodness, I've also had this terrible cough. And I've been doing really, really well not coughing today. And of course, now when it comes time to be live on Facebook, I'm coughing like crazy. But hopefully it'll be okay. Hopefully. All right. We'll go ahead and get started. Okay. So on Monday, just a quick recap. While we're waiting for everybody. On Monday, we talked about finding your purpose. On Tuesday, we went over your belief system. Last night, we talked about finding your ideal customer. And today, we're going to talk about making a plan and taking action. And as always, I have a $25 gift card to give away at the end of our live video tonight. So make sure that you hang out until the end. And I'll be giving it away during the Q&A. So, all right, let's talk about what's the plan. The biggest thing that you need to do to ensure that you have success with your blog is to make a plan and to make sure that you stick to it. As INFJs, we're all about plans, right? We need a plan. We need something that's practical and doable, much more so than ambitious. So when I was first starting out, I wanted to write a blog post every single day. That was my first thought. And then I started thinking about how much work that was, and this was my reaction. I love this GIF. Excuse me. It's like the perfect GIF for my reaction. Like, I thought that no one would want to read my blog if there was nothing there. So I was like, okay, I'm going to jump in and make a ton of content. And I'm going to write one blog post every single day until I feel like there's enough content on there. But then my question was like, what is enough? And how long do I have to maintain writing a blog post a day? So what actually happened was I got completely overwhelmed, right? I didn't want to write anything because I started thinking about writing a blog post a day, and it's like a lot. And not only that, I was working this really intense job at the time where I was basically on call 24/7 and I worked a lot. So I didn't really have that much time. So I decided just to stick to what felt easy for me to do, which was one blog post a week. And it kind of felt like I was letting myself off the hook, per se. Because one blog post a week really isn't that much, but it was exactly what I needed because it was challenging enough for me to get it done, but it was also easy enough for me to stick to it. So that's exactly what I suggest that you do when you're first starting out. Even though it seems like it's not a lot, And even though it seems like it's going to take you forever to get enough content on your blog, trust me, one post a week is enough and it will build up in no time. So the next thing that I suggest that you do is to make a schedule. There are a lot of times when I feel like I'm inspired and excited and I have tons and tons and tons of ideas about what I could write about. Usually those aren't the times when I decide to sit down and write. When I decide to sit down and write, my mind goes blank and I can't think of one good thing to write about. And then I just sit there staring at the cursor while it's blinking, going, what was I going to write about? Like, nothing sounds good. I can't even think about anything that I might even potentially write about. So when you have a schedule, you can take advantage of those times when you feel really inspired. And you can write down all of the ideas in your schedule. And then when you go to write, you already have all of the ideas. You don't have to think about anything. You don't have to make anything up on the fly. You can make a plan and stick to it. You can also take a lot of other things into consideration, like holidays and different seasons, different times of the year. You may want to incorporate Mother's Day into your blog, or the start of the school year. Anything like that. You don't have to, but you might want to. So it's nice to have those on a calendar in front of you so you know when they're coming and you can think about those ahead of time. Your schedule doesn't have to be anything that's fancy or expensive. So I actually am going to take a minute to show you the schedule that I use. This is what I use. This is actually my schedule right here. And I know it's kind of overwhelming. And there's more on this than just my blog because I have a podcast too. So I have my blog post and my podcast episodes on the same schedule. But this is how I suggest that you start with your schedule. If you have a Gmail or a Google email address, you can get access to Google Docs for free, to Google Drive, and this is in Google Sheets, which is like Excel. You can put it in Excel too, if that's easier for you. So what I did is I made the top row is the days of the week, and you can't see a bunch of them because a bunch of them are hidden. But really for you, you only need to focus on one day a week. Whatever day you're going to post your blog post, your new blog post on, I suggest that you always post them on the same day of the week. I started posting mine on Monday, but now I post them on Sunday because I wanted to post my podcast episodes on Monday. But it's completely up to you. It doesn't really matter. You can pick whatever day of the week. I just suggest that you use the same day every single week. So I have the days of the week on the top, and then the dates go down. So this is Sunday, but it shows every single week for the whole year. I have them all listed out. And then I put in the major holidays as well. The holidays that I wanted to remember. You'll see that not all of the holidays are here, but most of the major ones. Anything that I thought I might want to recognize on my blog. I didn't actually end up recognizing all of them, but some of them I was able to work in. So I put all of those up there, and just so that I know, like coming up, I know that Labor Day is coming up in just a few weeks. And even though it seems like September is a long ways away, it's really not that many weeks away when you think about it in terms of weeks. And especially when you start thinking about the holidays that come at the end of the year, they're all kind of chunked together. So if you are planning on doing something big for each one of them, then you'll need to know ahead of time so you can start planning on what you're doing so you can start making plans for it. If you're writing multiple blog posts, if you have a book that you're going to launch, or if you're going to do a bunch of videos, you'll need to know that ahead of time. The other column that I have in here is the promotions that I'm doing. So right now we're doing a blog challenge. I did a course about finding your purpose. I did one about self-love earlier this year. So I like to keep those ahead of me so I know what's going on. And then this is also a perfect place to, I have ideas for my for my blog, things that I might want to write about. And then I put all of those ideas up here as well. And the great thing about this too is that you don't have to stick to this 100%. If the first week in August comes along and I'm like, you know what, I don't really want to write about worth. I'd much rather write about careers. I can flip those around, but I still have all of my ideas right there in the same place. It also helps me to color code things. So the green ones I know are done and scheduled and good to go. The purple ones these are podcast episodes in this column, but those, I know that they're recorded. They're just not scheduled yet. So if it was a blog post, it would be a blog post that's written, but it's not on my website yet. And then the purple ones or the blue ones are ones that are upcoming. And then the red ones are things that I'm excited about and I need to get moving on. So those are just that's my own system. You know, obviously you can come up with your system. This also helps me to have everything in one place because I can look at all of it at a glance. So I can see what I still have to do. So for next week, I know that I haven't written my blog post yet. I know that I haven't even started recording my podcast episode, and here it is Thursday night. That's not good. This little box over here I keep for my email list. So if you have an email list and you're sending out a weekly newsletter, I keep that there so that I don't have to remember whether I sent it or not. The older that you get, the less you should rely on your memory because it's not very accurate. And I've certainly noticed that recently. So, yes, that's my schedule. It's very simple. It works for me. And I really suggest that you have something like this as well. It will help you stay on track and it'll help you plan, which I know as INFJs, we need a plan. Even if it's just a rough draft, we need to see it in front of us to be organized and to feel like we're making any type of progress. All right. So that's my schedule. Now I want to challenge you to set up a schedule for yourself as well. I want you to schedule one blog post a week and challenge yourself to do one other post a week as well. So you can either work on additional pages for your website, and I want to be clear about this too. You can launch your website without having everything perfect, right? Because like we talked about in the beginning, most people aren't going to read your blog in the beginning, and that's fine. That'll give you time to get everything set up. So rather than looking at your website and saying, oh my goodness, I need to have 12 blog posts done and the welcome page done and the about me page done and the resources page done and the contact page done, and like this is a lot to do. You don't have to do all of that. All you have to do is put your logo in there and post one blog post and be like, done. I'm done for this week. I'm good to go. Check that off the list. Make it green. Move on to next week. Next week, you can schedule yourself to post one blog post, and then you can work on your About Me page. You don't even have to launch your About Me page. You can just work on it that week. Commit to working on it that week. So that's what I challenge you to do, to write one blog post a week and to either work on the additional pages of your website or to write a second blog post, but don't schedule it yet. Schedule it for next week so that you get ahead of your schedule. I encourage you to do that because there are going to be some weeks where you don't feel like writing, or some weeks where you're like, I don't have anything to write about, or I'm too busy to write. Maybe you're going on vacation, or maybe it's your husband's or your daughter's birthday, and you're just overwhelmed with everything that's going on. It's nice to have a backlog, even if it's just 1 or 2 blog posts, so you're not scrambling at the last minute. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about too is your social media schedule, because social media goes hand in hand with having a blog. Like we spoke about before, if you launch a blog, especially if it's on its own website, nobody's going to read it. They're not going to know that it's there. You have to show people that it's there. You have to find another way to promote it to draw people to your blog. So I want to challenge you to pick one social media platform to focus on. We spoke a little bit last night about which social media platform that you should be on. If you're leaning towards one or the other, you know, even if you were leaning towards Twitter when the statistics were like, yeah, Twitter's not your best bet, I still encourage you to go with Twitter. Whichever one that you're the most comfortable with, that feels right for you, just trust your intuition and go with that. Pick one platform to focus on and commit to posting at least once a day. Absolutely least. I wrote 3 times a day on here because I really feel like 3 times a day will help you to grow your audience. But at the absolute least, commit to posting once a day right now. And then I also want to encourage you to set up a scheduling system. I would never, ever, ever sit here and tell you that you need to post 3 times a day on Instagram organically. Just like, you know, remembering to post 3 times a day on Instagram. I can't do that. I've tried to do it several times and it doesn't work. So I'm going to show you a couple of different scheduling systems. No, we're going to talk about what to post, and then I'm going to show you the scheduling systems. Okay, so what to post first. So your daily post, if you're posting 3 times a day, here's what I suggest that you post. One of your posts should be about your message, how you're trying to help people. And I'm going to show you examples of each one of these as well. Your next post should be your content. So either videos that you're doing, quotes from your blog post, or even screenshots of your blog post. And then the last post should show something about your personality. So something that helps people get to know you. So here's some examples. These are the message that I'm trying to share with people. So the first one is about information about INFJs. The second one is information about INFJs. And the one on the far right is inspiration. A quote that I liked from a book that I post, or from a book that I read. So those are examples of the message that you want to share with people. This one is examples of content. So the one on the far left is a screenshot of videos that I have on YouTube. You could also do a screenshot of blog posts that you have, or a screenshot of one particular blog post that you have, just of a quote that you like from it. The middle one is a graphic that I use to advertise my blog posts. And I use that every time I post a new blog post, I make a graphic that looks like that. And then the one on the far right is a video that I have. Again, you don't have to do videos, but it could be just another way to promote your blog. And then these are posts that show my personality. The one on the far left is from the stories of Instagram. The middle one is from a live video that I did on Instagram that I shared, or I saved on IGTV. And then the far right one is some cookies that I made. So anything that shares your personality, and think about it like if you had just met somebody new and you were friends with them and you wanted them to get to know you, what would you share with them? It doesn't have to be super, super personal type of stuff. I do encourage you, though, to share pictures of your face. And I really encourage you as well to do video, even if it's just short videos on Instagram. Short videos in the stories is a great way to get started doing that. The reason that I encourage you to do that is because it will help you build know, like, and trust. It will help people get to know you and to want to engage with you more, to want to work with you in the future. That's the easiest and the fastest way to do that. Okay, so those are daily posts. There are also a few things that you need to post weekly. You need to promote your blog post, and I would promote it at least twice a week. So my blog posts come out on Sunday. So the first post that I do on Sunday morning at like 7 o'clock in the morning it's this purple graphic that's in the middle here. So I post it like 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, and then I'll post it again on Wednesday at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or sometimes I'll post it at like 8 o'clock in the evening. So that gives you the people in the morning on the weekend, and then the people in the afternoon and evening during the week. And then also, if you have your email list together, if you have it set up in a system like MailChimp or something, I would encourage you to promote your email list once a week. If you have something free that you're giving away, which is a great way to grow your email list, I would encourage you to promote that free giveaway at least once a week. And then I also encourage you, even from the beginning, when you have 0 followers, when nobody's reading your blog, I encourage you to sell something. The point of starting a blog for most people, and I assume for you guys too, is to eventually have a business. You want to make money from it some way. There's a misconception that you have to have an audience before you can sell something. But I can tell you from personal experience, when you build a huge audience and you're not selling anything to them, and then 6 months, 8 months down the road, you decide that you're going to sell something, people get really upset and offended because they weren't expecting you to sell anything to them. You kind of went down the road of everything being free, and then you changed the game on them, and they don't know what to do now. So they get really mad and they lash out at you. I know that from personal experience, and I really encourage you not to do that. So what I'm telling you that you should do is sell something from the beginning. So that way, when people follow you, they see that you're selling something. They see that you're a coach. They see that you have courses, or that you have an ebook, even if it's just one ebook for sale. They see that and they're like, oh, cool, that person sells an ebook. Awesome. I expect them to sell an ebook. I expect them to sell courses because that's what they do. It's a whole mindset thing, but it's really important that if you plan on selling something, that you start from the beginning. It will save you a lot of time and energy and a lot of people sending you hateful messages later on. For sure. All right, so here's an example of these posts. I didn't put one in here about your blog post. I guess I should have. But the blog post was the purple one that I showed you earlier. These are, the one on the left is a promotion for a free guide that I have about finding your purpose. And you can't see the caption because it's cut off, but the caption goes into detail about how to get the free guide. The one in the middle is a picture of my book. I wrote a book, so I promote it. And then the one on the right is another book. It's an ebook that I have that I promote as well. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the scheduling system that I use. So it's important that you schedule all of these posts, but like I said, you don't have to do it live in the moment. So there's a couple of different options. This one is called Hootsuite, and you can start with Hootsuite for free, which is really good. You don't want to be spending a bunch of money up front, especially, when you're just getting started. So what you do is you connect your accounts to it. This one has my podcast Instagram and then my podcast Facebook account. You can connect LinkedIn and Twitter to it as well. Whatever post you decide to be on, or whatever social media platform you decide to be on. And the great thing about it is it's set up like a calendar. So all you have to do is say, okay, on Friday at 2 p.m., I want to have a new post. So you click on it and you write new post. And then you're probably going to have a graphic, which I should have had a graphic ready. So all you have to do is drag and drop the graphic in there. And it comes up. And then you select what social media platforms you want it to be on. And then you write your little caption in here. And all your caption, it doesn't have to be anything special. It can just be a hashtag if you want it to be a hashtag. And then hit schedule. And that's it. You've just scheduled a post for 2 different platforms at the same time. And then all you have to do is you repeat that same process for as many times a day as you want to post. A lot of people will say, does it matter what time of day that you post? In my experience, it really doesn't. I post 5 times a day on my account, and I am a firm believer that the content that you're posting is way more important than the time of day that you're posting it. So yeah, that's Hootsuite. The only thing that you'll run into with Hootsuite, they will only let you schedule 15 posts for free. If you want to schedule more than that, then you have to pay them. If you're going to pay somebody, I suggest that you use Later. Later is what I use. And it's a little bit different, but also a similar concept, right? So you drag and drop the same way. You drag a new picture in there. Super simple. And then you're like, okay, I want to post this at 2 o'clock on Sunday. And then you write your caption in here. And Later will actually let you save captions. So you can just pick one that you've already saved and then hit next. And the great thing about Later is they have this link in bio thing, which I'm going to show you next. So you hit post, and there you have 2 of them scheduled, ready to go. So the link in bio thing is like a whole different website. And what it does is it lets you add a different link for every single picture on Instagram. If you don't know about Instagram, Instagram doesn't let you share links that are clickable, only just the one that's in your bio. So if you want to share multiple links, you have to go back and change that link that's in your bio all the time. And I could never remember to do that. So I'm like, okay, I need something else, something to help me with that. So I came across Later because they have this link in bio, which is like a website. So what it does is it lets you link all of these different posts, as many as you want, with as many different links as you want. You can actually link every single one of your posts. All you have to do is add a link to it when you post it. And then this is what people see when they click on the link in bio. They see each one of these graphics, and then they can go back and say, oh, I saw this post from like 2 weeks ago and I wanted to read that blog post. And they can click on it and read it. So you don't have to worry about changing it. And so that's the great thing about Later. That's what I like. I have two different sets of accounts because I use my INFJ woman, and then I have they just changed. I have my podcast is on here too. So because of that, I think I pay $20 a month for it. But I feel like if you only have one set of accounts, then it would be like either $10 or $15 a month. So it's really not that bad, especially for what you get with it. All right. That's the scheduling system. Oh, I actually had pictures of them. I forgot. I had pictures of them. All right. Do you guys have any questions? I know we kind of covered a lot here, and I challenged you to do an awful lot. Not only to set up a schedule for your blog, but also to set up a schedule for your social media. Somebody asked me earlier too, should I start with my social media or should I start with my blog? I really encourage you to start both of them at the same time. I know that it's a lot of work, but what you can do, especially when you have a scheduling system, is to sit down and schedule a week's worth of posts at one time. And it may seem overwhelming. It might seem like it's going to take you a long time to do that. It might take you an hour to do it the first time, but the next time you sit down to do it, it won't take you that long. It takes me an hour to schedule, maybe an hour to schedule a week's worth of posts. And I make half of my graphics from scratch. The other half I get from Pinterest. And I schedule 5 times a day. Plus I do videos as well. So, and that's encompassing of all the time that I'm doing the videos and doing all the graphics too. So, I mean, if I wasn't doing all of that, it wouldn't take that long. Maybe 15, 20 minutes. All right. Christine says, for a blog, is it important to have an email list? How do I get that started? It is important to have an email list. The thing about an email list is your most dedicated customers are going to be on your email list. Also, you own the email list, right? So I think about it this way. I have over 50,000 followers on Instagram. If Instagram decided to delete my account for some reason, I don't have access to any of those people. I don't own any of their information. I can't reach any of them. Even when I post something on Instagram, there's no guarantee that 50,000 people are going to see it. In fact, usually it's about 3,000 people who see it. Now, when I have an email list, I have about 3,000 people on my email list. I can send them an email anytime that I want, and I know sure for certain that that email is going to get delivered to all 3,000 of them. That doesn't mean that all 3,000 of them are going to read it, but at least I know that it's getting delivered to them. I can reach them anytime that I want to. I also know that people who are on your email list are like 75% more likely to buy something from you than just people who read your blog or people who follow you on social media. It's also a great way to get people to read your blog because you have an email list of people who you already know are interested in your blog. So every time you post a new blog post, you send them an email that says, hey, I posted a new blog post. You're going to see more and more people reading your blog because it's your dedicated fans that are going to be reading it. The best way for you to get that started is through a program called MailChimp. It's a web-based email program, and you can start for free, and it's pretty easy to set up. Shiloh says, where do you create the graphics and the content? I like to use my own photos, but they don't look as slick as most of those that I see. I create all of my graphics in a program called Adobe Spark. which there's a free version of it. You can also buy a subscription to it that gives you a little bit more. Um, that's $10 a month, but it's really, really easy to use. And the great thing about it too is you can pick, it already has all of the sizes like pre-done for you, so you don't have to know what size works best with Instagram. All you have to do is say, oh, I want to make this an Instagram post, or oh no, I really want it to be a landscape post, or actually I'm going to save that and post that on Facebook, but then I want one on Pinterest too, and it will automatically fix all of those things for you. It also comes with all kinds of different fonts, and then you can add what they call icons, which are, there's all different kinds of them in here. And then you can also add pictures too. I didn't pick a really good post to show you with, but you can change like the layout. And then you can say, I actually want to add a picture in here, and they have free pictures. So you can say, oh, I want to talk about Boston in this picture. And they also have designs too, so you don't have to be a designer. You can just pick one of their designs. So if you're like, okay, this is all the information that I want, but I hate this design, you can go over here and say, you know what? Actually, I really like this design. And then you can change it. So it's really, really, really easy to use. The name of the email list is MailChimp. That's the free one. The one that I use is a lot more sophisticated than that, but it's also a lot more expensive now. But I suggest that you start with MailChimp because it's free. It's free for the first 250 people that you have on your list. Shiloh, the other thing I was going to tell you too is that your pictures don't have to look really slick. If you look at my Instagram account, I have some pictures like this picture. I love this picture. I like the fonts, I like the colors. I think that it's awesome and gorgeous and wonderful, and only 1,000 people liked it, which seems like a lot, right? But you can go to some of these other pictures that probably, well, that one's 1,500, like this one. This is not a great picture. I found it on Pinterest. It's fuzzy. I don't like the colors, but 3,600 people liked it. So as long as the content is good, your pictures don't have to be great. Like this one too, not even a great picture. It's cropped weird. I mean, as a graphic designer, this makes me cringe. But I know that the content is really good, and 2,100 people liked it, which is still more than liked my pretty picture. Oh, can you hear me now? I was It was me. I did it. I was coughing, and so I muted it, and I forgot to hit the button to make it go back. So, okay, I'll repeat what I said. There's this post in the Facebook group that says, "What 3 things are you doing today for your blog?" So make sure that you go find that post, and then tell me the 3 things that you're doing today for your blog. Remember that tomorrow never comes. Don't stay in planning mode, because if you stay in planning mode, you're just going to keep putting it off forever. So take some action on it today. Make a plan this weekend. Post your new blog post next month, or next week. Not next month, next week. Post your new blog post next week, and as soon as you do, make sure that you post it in the group, because I want to read every single one of them. And tomorrow we're going to talk about how to make money, which is incredibly important. I know that's what we all want to do. Leave our day jobs and make a full-time income off of what we love to do. So, all right. Did I get to all of your questions? I know I talked a lot longer tonight than what I have on the previous nights. So, I'm going to go ahead and pick somebody for the Amazon gift card, and I will let you guys go. All right. Christine, you are the winner of our $25 gift card for tonight. So congratulations. I am going to send you a direct message and get your email so I can send it to you. And if you guys have any other questions, you can leave them in the comments, or you can send me a direct message, or you can send me an email. I will be more than happy to answer those. And make sure that you show up tomorrow night, because tomorrow night I have a gift for everybody who shows up. So make sure that you show up. I hope that you have a good evening and a happy Friday tomorrow, and I will see you tomorrow evening.